session.
Oh,
bless you. I should have started recording now, but
bless you.
Sorry, Trish.
That kicks it.
We'll cut it off on the
right
front
there.
end. Good thing I know who produces the content, me and you, so we can easily edit that out.
All right.
So Anthony, you want to?
Yes, we'll go ahead and get started. So for July's Huddle session, we are going to formally introduce the Mighty Network and our deployment of a digital platform out onto the Mighty Network. So we're just going to go through some information here over the next half hour, 40 minutes, just to talk about the Mighty Network, what's in it for you. We're going to throw in some poll questions. I want to make this as interactive as possible, so feel free to jump in and interject with comments, questions, whatever. But again, I just wanted to thank everyone for coming out this afternoon and participating and just learning more about our Mighty Network, because I think there's tons of benefits, not just for, this is not about us, it's about our members, and just getting them to connect and talk to each other about what's going on in their universe and in the broader universe. So again, our goal here is just to inform you and make you aware of what's going on as it pertains to the Mighty Network. So I'm going to go ahead and just jump into it right here. I'm going to share my screen, and all right, so let's talk Mighty Network launch. And so some of you that are on this call today, some of you may or may not be part of our platform yet, but I think you need to be here as soon as you can. Just jump out on there, and if you have questions on how to get in there, I can certainly we will certainly provide you with the links following the session in terms of how you get into the Business Center Mighty Network. But here are really, why are we making the move? I mean, some of you may or may not be aware that we had a Facebook Workplace platform where we had some conversations out there, we had some content going, but it just wasn't an effective platform to connect our members and to get them telling their stories or sharing their skill sets, or sharing what they're doing out there. So why are we making this move? We're going to shut down the Facebook Workplace, and we're going to go all in with Mighty Network. And the response up to this point has been pretty amazing. We've got a significant amount of signups. Our members are out there talking. We've been posting events, but really we want people to interact and meet people like us that are entrepreneurs, founders, building their companies, building stories, sharing stories. So that's one of the motivating, or a couple of the motivating factors for implementing or deploying the Mighty Network. So meet people like us, share our stories. Another component or aspect of it is make better decisions. You're not in a vacuum here at the Business Center. You've got a lot of friends, a lot of fellow founders that have been through this before. So bounce your ideas off those other individuals that are part of the Business Center. Help you make better decisions, and along kind of in line with that, get answers. Like I said, there are individuals out there that have been through this before, not necessarily on this call today, but they're out there and they're part of the Business Center, and connecting via the Mighty Network is a great way to share ideas, get answers, bounce ideas off of others. So inspiration, you'll notice as we go through our conversation today, you'll hear a lot about stories and just sharing our stories and finding inspiration through those stories. So we're going to talk a lot about that over the next 30 to 40 minutes. So inspiration, and then have an impact. All of you, through your ideas, through your solutions, through your companies are having an impact, and this tool will help that even more in terms of making an impact. So I'm going to stop there. I think we have some polls, and Paul, correct me if is there a poll that I need to run, Paul or Trish?
Yes. So the first poll we want to run here to everybody is just getting a groundwork for your familiarity with Mighty Network. And so I'm going to launch it. And then we've got a second poll that's going to come right after that asks you, why you're interested in making the move. So I'm going to launch the first poll now. And let's take a couple seconds to respond on the Zoom meeting here.
Hey, Anthony, this is Scott. Quick question for you. What about the Facebook's page or space do you think didn't work out? I'm not advocating it. I don't even go on Facebook, so I'm happy you moved away from it. But where do you think it fell short? And what was the driving factors for you to look into a new option?
No, that's a good question. And I think there are a few number of things. I think number one, I don't want to go negative here, but I think there's a lot of like Facebook angst out there, just in terms of social media and other media platforms. So in terms of our traction and people, going out there and actually leveraging the Facebook workplace, I got comments back to me and feedback communicated back to me that, I don't do Facebook, or I don't want to do Facebook. And I got several comments to that effect. And I think that was part of the decision. And another reason, which we'll get to a little bit further on into our conversation, is I think the Mighty Network sets us up for the future deployment of some workshops, online courses, that type of platform. Whereas the Facebook workplace did not really offer up those types of features and functionality and allow us to deploy courses, workshops, those types of things, and be able to potentially charge for those types of things, or make it part of your your business center membership. So couple quick items there. That's kind of what we're thinking and what was behind our thinking, if that makes sense.
Yeah, thanks for that.
So we've got the results up here. Looks like, for the most part, 60% of the people are somewhat familiar. Obviously, there's some that are very and some that are unfamiliar, but good to know that at least the majority of people are somewhat familiar with it. So a lot of this will probably help clarify even more over today. But then for those that are unfamiliar, and those that are somewhat familiar, don't hesitate to ask questions if things aren't as clear. As Antony and Trish and I are going through this. So Antony, you want me to go to the next poll? Because the next poll really is about like getting understanding for why making the move. These 6 reasons up here, like we would love to know what interests you most about the platform and the execution of it right within the business center. So I'm going to launch that so we can kind of gain an understanding of what you're most interested in. Sound good?
Sounds good. Let's do it.
All right. Whoops, not that one. End polling. Sorry. Okay, next one. And it is launched. Give it 15 more seconds. It looks like we got 10 of 11 that have voted. Might be me that hasn't voted, so. All right, end the polling, share the results. So the majority, now granted, this is, you were forced to pick one, right? That could have been top 2 or 3, but it's an imperfect polling methodology here. But it looks like meeting people like, you know, yourselves and making better decisions, finding inspiration and having an impact were the ones that were most said. So anyone wanna extrapolate, I guess, on those things in terms of what they've shared and why?
Well, I put have an impact on there, Paul. You know, QCA as a partner to HCDC, we want to have an impact on any of the current tenants in any way, shape, or form that we can. We certainly want to provide the angel investor perspective on how they're doing and what they could be doing differently, and support, you know, other programs that we do with you, like morning mentoring. So anything that we can do, I mean, open office hours or collaborating through this network, or, you know, whatever we can do to make it have an impact on the local ecosystem, as well as any of the HCDC clients. We want to try to do that.
Cool. Thanks for sharing.
I put meet with other people because community is more important now than ever, especially in our startup world. It's not just about what you know, it's about who you know and how you can connect people to opportunities. And, you know, unless you know a lot about someone, you really don't have the desire to do so, right? So I think a better understanding of other founders and what it is that they're trying to accomplish is going to help you and enable you to know who to connect them to help them move their initiative forward. So
Awesome.
Yeah, thanks, John.
I believe another question would have gotten a lot of answer, and that would be to tap into the HCDC resources easily and conveniently.
Mhm.
Gotcha. Cool.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right. You want to keep going, Anthony? Thanks for sharing, everybody. This helps
Yeah.
us even frame up areas to, as Anthony will get into, but focus on as we're moving forward.
Yeah, no, good feedback. Thank you, everyone. Appreciate it.
All right.
All right.
Back to you, Anthony.
All right. Okay. So moving on. So, you know, what is the Mighty Network? So, you know, we've got and just kind of, you know, thinking about this. Yeah, so we've got a pretty awesome community here, like physical space. But yeah, the last year has, you know, shed some light on that. And you know, with everyone kind of, you know, locking down, not being able to, you know, interact face to face, not being able to work face to face, you know, we realized that, you know, we needed to fill a gap there. And, you know, we needed to connect our people in another manner or another fashion. And, you know, I talked about the Facebook workplace wasn't really cutting it. So, you know, Mighty Network, you know, it relies on, and the whole premise of it is the network effect. And that's essentially what we're doing. And, you know, Jonathan Martis, you know, touched on that. You know, it's about community. It's about who you know. It's about leveraging the individuals and their knowledge, you know, within that community. And like I said, we've got a, you know, pretty awesome physical community campus here where, you know, you can go walk down the hall and talk to individuals, but, you know, that's not always going to be available to us. And to supplement that, we've got the Mighty Network, and that's what this is all about. The network effect, and letting people tap into one another, and the insight that they can bring to that network. So again, there are a lot of solutions, software solutions out there, that claim to accomplish or try to accomplish that effect. I don't, in my mind, we've done some research on a lot of these, investigated a lot of these. In my mind, I don't think they can offer what the Mighty Network does in terms of, allowing individuals to, to talk to one another, or communicate with one another. And it's more in an environment that's more customized or tailored to our needs, the business center needs. And we'll get into that in a little bit, just in terms of some of the resources and some of the topics that we've built out. But it's just that we're able to kind of build out our own topics, fill that with some content, and valuable content, insightful content, and tweak it and build it so it meets your needs, our members' needs. So those solutions or apps that are listed there aren't always effective when we're trying to take advantage of that network effect. So what it's not, we're not turning this into another social network, where you're going to be posting selfies on a regular basis. I mean, that's not what it's all about. It's not a repository for recycled group posts, external links. We want to maintain this with original content. Every now and then we will leverage some of our partner resources, some of our partners' insights, and occasionally post that through the Mighty Network. But it's not, again, it's not a social network. It's we're not doing group posts out there. We're making it very topical, making it value add for our members. And again, so when we looked at the Mighty Network, this solution will drive a lot of our strategy going forward. And again, in the next few slides, you'll see that and kind of what we're building out here. This is a long-term vision that we're building out as it pertains to the Business Center Mighty Network. We're not looking at this as like another flavor of the month tool. This will actually drive our strategy, our communications, our topics here, throughout the year and further beyond. So, and again, I'll get into that in the next few slides. But I'll take a pause here. If everyone, if anyone's got questions, you want to chime in, I'll take a pause. And we'd love to get feedback. Hopefully everyone's understanding kind of where we're going with this. And I will take a pause and a breath and see if anyone's has any questions. And
I have one question, and this is it's not easy for you to provide a short answer, I'm sure, but when you talk about how it's helping to drive, the use of this platform is helping to, Mighty Networks is going to help drive the strategy. Can you just in a very short sort of fashion describe what the strategy is moving forward? You and I have talked a little bit about, maybe working with clients, externally, remote coaching. And I know that, there's been a rebranding effort going forward, but, maybe if you could just describe sort of the current state of the strategy, that'd be interesting, I would think.
Yeah. I mean, in terms of strategy, and like I said, I'll get into this in the next few slides. But obviously, this going to a virtual platform and providing resources and tools and mentors out there that are part of this digital platform, obviously that's a big piece of our strategy. I mean, we've got, like I said, we've got the physical campus, the physical location. I think we've built a great environment here around that. This is just another, extension of that strategy, and allowing to, some of the things that we'll get into specifically, online chatting with some of our coaches. There will be circles, topic specific circles out there, within the Mighty Network that we will start filling up with mentor and topic specific items. I think potentially we've talked about like building out a morning mentoring circle. So, allowing, morning mentors to jump into the circle, and morning mentoring presenters to be part of that circle. So that's all part of that. Additionally, I talked about, and I touched on this earlier, potentially, deploying workshops out there, online courses out there, and those would be available to our paying members. And that would be part of a Business Center members resources. They would have access to those as part of their membership. But then we're also talking about charging potentially ad hoc for those courses as well, for individuals, for companies, for startups that aren't members. So there's a couple different, additional revenue generating opportunities there as well. And then I think in terms of bringing like other resource partners or service providers into the fold, whether that's an accountant or a lawyer or a prototyping firm, I think there's an opportunity to potentially bring partners into this mix as well, and potentially have them pay an annual fee to be part of this Mighty Network. So touched on a few things that I see in terms of visionary strategy going forward, strategy and some tactics, through the Mighty Network. Hopefully that sheds a little bit of light on that, Scott. Does that help?
Yeah, it does. QCA has always been focused on education and training. So to the extent that we can, maybe partner with you on future courses that you want to offer, or additional resources that we can bring to bear. We've got kind of an open conversation going on with Jobs Ohio right now for potential ways that they may or may not be able to support what we're trying to do with QCA Education Foundation and Startup College. But I think there may be some opportunities to collaborate down the road with some of that.
Yeah.
One of the things,
Absolutely.
if I can just hop in too real quick. So Anthony will go through the purpose here in a second, right? So the kind of the thought here is like, the software isn't just without a purpose, right? Like we have a purpose that he's going to share here in a second. But then to the extent that you've been out on the network, right, you've probably seen that there's a homepage and a discovery and members and topics and events and groups and courses. And so all of those things, right, exist not just to exist in isolation, but to exist to help you achieve the results that you want to achieve, that we're making some guesses on, and we'll go through them in a second. But as an example, right, like if you're looking to meet another member, or you met a member on one of the Huddle sessions and you were talking about SEO and you want to reach out to them and talk to them directly, you can go on in the network, right, and find that member out on the network instead of having to go through Antony, Pat, myself, Dennis, Trish, right? You can go reach out to them directly. So that allows an interaction that's, direct. And then secondly, some of those courses and topics, et cetera, that will help make better decisions, those things will then will live out here. They'll live out on this network. And so it'll be a living, breathing thing, right, that we'll continue to add to and create and help enable you, but ultimately with the purpose that Antony will go through here in a second. So,
question for you: would
absolutely.
there be push notifications involved everybody's on their cell phones these days, and one of the ways to sustain engagement is having push notifications, and I think that would help drive activity within the community.
I think
Yeah, no, that's a good question, John. And so along with the software, the web-based version, there is a mobile, a smartphone version. And so if you download and leverage that, or decide to use that on your smartphone, there are notifications that will be pushed out to you via that smartphone application.
And then another thing, as far as strategy goes, and this is, what I feel is from my research is very important to sustaining engagement within the community is what's called network effects. Network effects is where each user in the community makes the community that much more valuable to the next user. So, every prior member of the network needs to see that perpetual benefit that is created by each new user in the community.
Okay.
So
Okay.
that's what network effects are all about. So
Yeah, no, that's a good point. That's a good point. And as part of the Mighty Network, there is, and this, I think in a roundabout way, kind of touches on what you're talking about. There's the potential to work in an affiliate program where you can kind of share, you can share with potential future business center members. Like you can send them a link and you'll get some credit for that. You'll get recognition for that through, I think there's like, the Mighty Network has kind of set up a medal, like a platinum, silver, and bronze medal type of structure that recognizes your contributions to building out that network. So it's pretty neat in that respect. So.
And are we thinking about bringing in alumni?
Yes, absolutely, absolutely. That's going to be part of it as well, and build out a circle around alumni, and our existing members, leveraging or reaching out to alumni will make that available as well. So good stuff. Good
yeah, because
stuff.
Anthony, our strategy as far has been to get as many people that are current members first on it, right, and then move into kind of those other pockets. Is that accurate?
Yep.
Cool.
Yeah. All right. If there's nothing else, I'm going to go ahead and just move on here real quick. And again, some of the benefits to our to members, which is important, is you can control your feed and what matters to you. You can decide what you want to see and what you don't want to see. You can control the notifications. If you want to get every single notification that comes out, you can certainly do that. I think there's a digest option where they'll send you a notification at the end of a day with a digest, or at the end of the week with a digest. So you can control what you want to see. Obviously the connections, which we've talked about, the web-based version, and the smartphone application. It's safe, secure space. Some of the other things in terms of benefits to members, and we'll dig into this a little bit more in terms of the benefits and what we're hoping our members will get out of it. So in terms of our kind of overarching purpose, and this aligns with our mission, to help our members build viable, sustainable businesses that are ready to scale. And through the Mighty Network, we're going to offer resources, tools, connections. That's really when it comes down to it. That's what we're hoping to provide to you through this network that we're building out. Pretty simple, pretty basic, but sometimes the most simple, most basic things are pretty in depth. So that's our purpose, our goal, our mission in terms of rolling this out. So I'm going to pause there, and then I'm going to turn it over to your colleague Paul, who's going to continue with a few more slides, unless there's any questions before he jumps in.
I have a question. If you'd be so kind, would you please elaborate on the tools piece of that?
Yeah, so in terms of tools, I think we've actually set up a topic board. I think we've called it Startup Candy, which is, there's a number of partners that we have or partnerships that we've developed, whether that's with Amazon Web Services, HubSpot, Google, their a startup program. So those are available to you, and those are tools that you can leverage. If you're a developer, you're looking to build out a software as a service, you can access Amazon Web Services, and it's at a pretty discounted rate. So those are some concrete tools that you can go out there and access and apply for, and get a pretty significant discount. Those are just some of them. I think Zendesk is another one that we've got access to as well. So additionally, there are other tools out there that we've found throughout our research. If you're looking to build out, like, for instance, for example, equity tables. Pulled this down the other day. If you're looking to kind of structure out your company in terms of like equity and who gets what percentage and what percentage ownership, that's a very specific tool that we've deployed out there, and you can access and leverage. And so it's a toolbox. Those are just to name a few. Really to kind of help you move forward in your entrepreneurial journey. So does that help, John?
Yep. Thanks.
Yeah, so they're embedded, right, Anthony, within the topics section right now. So when you're out on the network,
Correct.
in the topics, there's all sorts of different topics. And the Startup Candy is one topic where we put a lot of these tools. But then as we add things to topics, so like within learning and development, right, or within like strategy, sales and marketing, we might write an article about a tool that you might leverage. So it could theoretically be within any of those. So, and we'll help guide people, which we'll get into in a second with like the daily actions and the weekly calendar and all that kind of stuff. Any other, I guess, questions before we move on to the next slide? Cool. So we wanted to focus on what we think are 3 member results that you might have. Now, so these are our hypotheses, but we're going to have a poll here in a second that will check and see if these are things that you're interested in, or if there's other things that we could work on, right? At the end of the day, there's 3 things that come to mind. So first, so in terms of building a viable, sustainable business for you to scale, well, that relies on having a growth plan, right? A plan that will help you increase revenues through a customer-focused product. So having kind of like that knowledge of who you're going after, right? How you reach them, and then a plan to actually go out there and grow your business. That's a member result that we would love for you all to have, and we think that you might be interested in. Second, hey, Anthony.
Yeah.
Can you go back? I think you're controlling the slides still.
Yeah. Whoops.
Sorry.
There we
The
go.
second one is in connections, right? Connections not only to capital, but also to customers to then fuel your business. And so that's something that we hypothesize, right, that is something of interest to you as a result. And then last but not least, collaboration within your team and the broader business center Mighty network, primarily because it'll help you problem solve. And so we're going to do a poll real fast to see which ones of these You know, or if there's another one that we've left off that you might be interested in terms of a result. So I'm going to launch the last poll to see, to check in here. So ready? Alrighty. Sharing results. It's all about connections to capital and customers. That is the main one, and then collaboration within your network and team. Good to know that there wasn't one that was necessarily an other one. Just a double click here on the growth one. Is that something that's also of interest as a secondary interest, or is there no interest at all by anybody given our limitations on how we're polling right now? Any brave souls?
I mean, I think that, I mean, in order to fuel growth, you can either provide knowledge or you can feed a business revenue in the form of introductions to potential customers or introductions to talent, right?
Yep.
So it's to me, it's more of that's how you can help, you know, drive growth, unless you make a, you know, an introduction to a partner, or, you know, somebody who might be, you know, in your channel of distribution, or so. Yeah, that's the way I look at growth.
Hey, Paul, it's Pat.
Yep.
I looked at, I voted for connections because I thought it is key. And in my years of being here at the incubator, I really see it that number 2 and number 3 hopefully will lead to number 1. You know, and that's one of my desires would be that, you know, because I would love to grow. I'd love to see everybody here grow, but I know I need fundamental pieces, and that's probably more connections and collaboration. But, you know, without that North Star of, hey, I want to grow something, I think that's what everybody's here for, is that they want to grow. So that's just my thought as someone that's been around for a little bit.
Yeah.
It's growth, right? Let's just maybe reframe the question. Is growth something everybody in the line wants?
Yeah, I hope so.
Okay. Right. So I'm asking more like, I understand the logic, right? Hey, customers and capital helps drive growth. And because we're not providing a rank order, I guess the question then is growth kind of inherently something that you want, or do you feel like it's being addressed by virtue of numbers 2 and 3, connections and collaboration?
I think Pat said it the best.
Go ahead, Jonathan.
Yeah, I think that, you know, again, it's, you know, if you can come together as a community and bring everybody together to contribute to the missions of others and make that the primary focus, is to, you know, spend your time getting to know others so that you can determine how you can contribute to their mission. I think that that's, and you can do so in providing, you know, ideas or advice or knowledge or connections in the form of introductions to customers or talent. I think it's really going to all drive growth. So I think Pat said it very well.
I was going also to add that when I came to the HCDC as a startup company, I knew that I would be in the engineering a focused product development phase for quite some time, doing research and development, which means basically you are in need of capital, you are in need of resources related to developing the product. But then once the product is developed, you suddenly realize that now you need help marketing that. And I think that's where that growth really comes to play, so that I think HCDC can have an amazing opportunity to partner with experts in marketing, people who are able to go ahead and assist with go-to-market strategy, product market fit, differentiation, the design of basically advertising pages, digital advertising, etc. Those are areas where majority of us could benefit a lot if there are experts as a resource in the HCDC that we could tap into, because marketing is very expensive, as you know. And if you have those resources available, that that would be a great value add for startup companies.
Gotcha. Is that something that others share and Valley's opinion on?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, promoting your members that's huge, right? I mean, it's going to create that that community to be even stronger than it was coming in. When you see that it's when members of the community see that, it's really about people surrounding them and lifting them up and getting their awareness out to the general public about their mission or what they're doing to make the world a better place based on their their message, right? And so getting that message out there to the general public is one of the things that I think is something I would like to see as a result. It's not something that it's dependent upon your success, but it's something that definitely helps accelerate your business.
It's like one of the things that I think we don't tap into greatly, because I'm a faculty member at the University of Cincinnati. As a startup company, I have been able to tap into university resources because I know about the resources that are available, that the rest of them don't. But as a partnership with the universities, for example, we could post jobs, on this community board, and then be able to hire, co-op students from the university that can help with, areas where we need help, be it, design of a web page or marketing research, etc. I think there's a lot of opportunities for, the HCDC Center to start a dialogue with UC and Xavier University that's so close to us, so that in a more holistic way, we can find resources that are available at the university. It helps the students and it helps us. I know that they send us email, with the name of some students once in a while, but it would be nice to have a real-time ability to be able to seek and get those resources as well.
Cool, thank you. Any other thoughts? Otherwise, we're going to move on to the next slide.
Yeah, just real quick. Apologies if I'm a little off base. I was just trying to understand. So one of the things that I just heard was tapping into resources of students looking to possibly do work to fulfill co-ops and internships, which is something that OmniBoom actually did over, gosh, that would have been last fall and winter already. We had a wonderful student from Miami that I actually found via Handshake. So my comment, would it be possible to have those partnerships with like a Handshake, where there are the local universities where we could tap into, a partnership with their resources to kind of fill that need? Because I do think it's a tremendous opportunity to get the intern and the co-op and give them experience while also kind of getting the work that you need done.
Yeah, no,
I mean, we do
that's
that.
actually,
Sorry, go ahead, Anthony.
yeah, I was going to say on the
Sorry.
university front. Yeah, I mean, we have partnerships with all the universities, local universities, and we try and promote and advertise some of their programs as much as we can.
Mhm.
Are you saying leverage the handshake tool in some
Possibly.
sort of fashion, or help me
It
understand
was,
that a little bit?
yeah, no, sorry. It was simply just kind of a high level thought that I had, because I had
Yeah.
such a good experience. It was such a broad net of so many universities that, if you wanted to do somebody local, you could. For us, since it was virtual through COVID, it really didn't matter what university. And I just felt like they casted such a wide net of talent, because so many universities are part of it. So I didn't know if down the road, some sort of formal partnership would make sense for each CDC. So I just wanted to throw that out there.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, that's good. I mean, I actually, so I've gone into Handshake and have tried to kind of understand Handshake a little bit better. But no, those are some good comments and something to think about going forward. Like, if there's an opportunity to kind of share that type of tool or platform, going forward, that's good feedback. But then again, I think we're going to supplement that with the Mighty Network as we learn more about the opportunities with Xavier or Miami or University of Cincinnati as well. So
Yep, that's true. Okay.
You want to
thank you.
to the last, any other comments? Otherwise, we're going to go to the next slide.
I just shared some of those resources on the chat, that enable you to easily reach out to the right people that they can help at UC. And, with Mighty Network, I'll be able to do it much easier by posting on the board once it's up and running. So that's really good.
Okay.
Thanks.
Good. Thank you.
All right. Next slide. And so for the Business Center, what we want is we want a growing and engaged Business Center community that is scaling, developing cool, impactful solutions, and accessing capital, right? I mean, that's at the end of the day, whether it's kind of that combination of the connections, the scale, and the capital, whether it's self-funded or VC funded, et cetera, are the things that we want to see. The more companies that grow and graduate and scale, like the better for us, the better for the company, the better for the community. Next slide. So we're going to dive into a bit more about what to expect. So we've talked about the purpose, what some of the results we're seeking, the strategy, like why we're moving to the Mighty Network. What we want to cover here now is a bit more on kind of the how, in terms of what to expect. So each month there will be a theme that we will center the main content around. That doesn't mean that you can't go out and, Jonathan, you want to talk to Valley, right, about resources at the local university, right? That doesn't keep you from reaching out to him. However, we want to center the discussion around a specific theme. So some months that might be, talent development and resources that help you generate a strong team, strong company. Other months it might be sales and marketing. Other months it might be strategy development. Other months it might be, public policy and how that impacts your business. And so there'll be a relevant theme that ultimately helps you ladder up to what your big purpose is and helps you, achieve some of the results that we think, all think are important. And then within each month, there's a weekly calendar that we have, and that weekly calendar. This doesn't mean that you have to partake in every single thing that happens during the week. It's more to be there as a resource to continue to kind of build that community and add back to it. and having a weekly calendar with daily actions are ways for us to help you create connections, help thought bubbles get created so that oh man, I didn't know enough about, Bonnie and Omniboom's story, and how they're actually trying to tackle this challenge. And because we featured them or talked about them in a story, I was able to learn about that, and now I want to reach out to them directly. So that's really the intent of having a monthly theme to a weekly calendar to a daily action, so that we can help create the innovative, connective, thought bubbles for you to want to connect with each other. Any questions? Otherwise, we'll move on to the next slide. We're going to start to bring it to life here in a moment. Yeah, so what we'll do now is we'll talk about what the monthly themes and then what the daily actions look like. And so each month we'll focus our specific discussions, and so that will include the huddle. When we're having a huddle session, the speaker that we bring in will likely be, or will, 99% chance that they will be within the theme for that month. So, and we're not going to reveal the entire calendar at the beginning of the year. We're going to reveal the theme for the month before the start of each month. So it'll likely be 2 weeks before the month begins. The August theme is going to be team building and wellness. Building a team is one of the biggest challenges that entrepreneurial companies, have to tackle, right? And whether you're a one-person team looking for, some contractor support, that's still about building a team. Just as if you're a 9-person team trying to determine a 10th employee or an 11th employee that you want to add. In September, we're going to talk about overarching business strategy. And then we're not going to tell you what October is. You're going to have to make sure you come to at least the September sessions, or sorry, be out on the network in September to learn what happens in October. Next slide. So here would be kind of an example of a weekly sample. So the monthly theme might be strategy. On Monday of the week, because we're planning on having things that we post out on the calendar, out on the network, every Monday, Wednesday, Friday. And so we'll have an HCDC spotlight on an alumni company or on another company that talks about their exit strategy. And so if it's an alumni company that's exited, here was the strategy that they followed. So you could tap into that story to learn about how they did it, but it also then might elicit a desire to make a connection to an alum or somebody else in the business center based off of what that spotlight is. On Wednesday, there might be a poll on how many clients have exit strategies. This would be a simple poll like we have in Zoom, where it might be a question over the Mighty Network that asks you multiple choice answers on who has exit strategies, and that helps drive conversation so that you can then go connect with others. Or maybe it's going to be a post, so a blog post, a video post on how to build an exit strategy. And those blog or video posts might be ones that we create, or they might be ones that we found and we think are applicable to that specific strategy. And then on Fridays, we want to have challenge chat office hours. This is where somebody, one of the HCDC Business Center team members is out on the Mighty Network for you to go and reach out to or connect with and discuss maybe what your strategy is or what some of the strategic challenges you're having. So think of them as more informal office hours that we're there ready for us, an opportunity to discuss a specific challenge that you're having. Any questions thus far as to how we're planning on executing and actually being out on the network to drive this amplification of the network effect. Well, and we'll seek feedback, obviously, on an ongoing basis to make sure that it's meeting everyone's needs. So, anywho, I'll move on to the next slide. Anthony, I think I turn it over to Trish.
Yep, so one of our daily tasks is kind of to do member profiles. This will help members know each other better. And so you'll probably be hearing from me. I'm going to reach out to people. It's kind of going to be a template. There'll be questions, you know, what problem are you solving for? But there'll also be some personal questions just to bring the personal feeling into it. Like, you know, who do you cheer for on the weekends, or what's your favorite podcast? Just so everyone can get to know each other on a business and a personal level. So I'll be doing those asks. So we're launching in August. So I'll start. Someone will hear from me next week.
All right. Thank you, Trish.
Anthony, you taking this one from here on out?
Yeah, and so carrying it to the end here. So another item, you know, that the Mighty network allows us to do is polling, regular polling. And so, you know, we're going to engage with our members, you know, put polls out there and kind of get your feedback on some things, and just get your sense of, you know, what you would like to see, you know, as part of the Mighty network, or some of the challenges that you're having out there, you know, as part of your entrepreneurial journey. So, yeah, this is one thing that you're going to see a lot from us, and you may get sick of us time and again, just in terms of gathering, you know, feedback or gathering customer feedback. Yeah, you guys are our customers, and we want to make sure that we're providing, you know, the right tools for you guys, and you know, doing it in a manner that's effective, you know, for you. So, you know, whether that's through polling or chatting, or you know, the different articles that we post out there, that's you're going to see that from us on a regular basis. So,
one thing I wanted to add there, Anthony, if you don't mind, on the previous slide.
Yeah.
So, you know, this isn't like, the network isn't just about like collecting a bunch of different articles, right? We know that the articles are really intended to help provide tools for you to be able to accomplish the results that you have. And it's also to help make connections. If some of you aren't, you know, weren't on the line or members necessarily a year ago, but we've already got a pretty long list of interests that you've expressed with us for specific types of topics and things that are challenges that you have, that range the spectrum from building a team to building a strategy to marketing your business to building a product to testing it, etc. So you can expect that we already have a lot of things that you've said that you're interested in that we're going to start to put out there to help address those kind of information and insights needs. But also, some of the polls will likely be reaching out to see what other areas are interest for you, so we can make sure that we're ultimately meeting your needs to achieve the results that you have. So again, it's not necessarily just about purely information, it's about sensing where you need information and helping point people in the right direction.
Yep. Perfect. Okay, so I'm going to go on to the next slide if no one has any questions on that. One of the things that we touched on earlier a few slides ago was just you know, challenge chats. So we'll be out there. We'll be out there. We'll make ourselves available, you know, for your, you know, questions, you know, comments, you know, whatever. So and this is, again, this is for you guys. This is for our members, and you know, we're going to do this on a regular basis and make ourselves, like I said, make ourselves available to, you know, whatever you want to talk about on that. We're going to do this on Fridays, just to kind of close things out on Fridays. So so that's the challenge chat. And then, kind of what this is going to look like, and I touched on this earlier, was, as part of your business center, membership, whether you're an office paying member, or whether you're co-works, or, the virtual membership that you've got, you will have access to, the community and the paid courses that are out there, and the courses that we deploy, the workshops that we deploy out there. So that will be part of your business center membership. Another value add, piece that's part of your membership. So that's, and you can see, that last box there, that last arrow. That's how we're you're rolling this out, and that's how it's going to be going forward. So, part of your business center membership. Any questions on that?
Yeah, so as an example, Anthony, right? Like what we're saying, right, is that, hey, the network is free if you're a business center member. If there's courses though that like that, let's say we had to go spend $10,000 to go create a course, or bring in somebody like the Growth X people that we had come in, and we wanted to do a shorter term pilot, we might go seek ways to fund that so it doesn't cost anything to the members, but we might have to figure out ways where if there's additional services or things that are like more dedicated types of courses, that we have to think through what's the right way to subsidize and charge for things that are more premium. Is that what you're saying?
Correct. Yep. Yep. All right. So any questions on that before I think we're going to hit the last slide here. So yeah, so I'm just going to, in conclusion, that's the Mighty Network. That's the Business Center Mighty Network. So, and really what we're looking to accomplish and provide to all of you. So, I'm here right now to answer your questions. If you've got any questions right now, feel free to, as a follow-up, shoot me an email or shoot me a text. Happy to answer anything that you may have going forward. But if you're not out there today, I encourage you to get out there and sign up as a member for the Business Center Mighty Network, and get your profile rolling, and make introductions to other members that are out there that are part of the Business Center Network. But yeah, that's I'm going to bring things to a close, and that's really all that we've got, unless someone's got some questions. So
I just have
anything,
one
I'll shoot it
suggestion.
out there to the crowd.
Yeah, Anthony,
Yeah.
thank you so much for your presentation. Very valuable, and I'm excited to join this community. As part of, Tricia mentioned that she will be reaching us for our profile. One suggestions that I have that, I think it will benefit me immensely is that if I know that other members, what book they have read that has helped them the most. So that
Okay.
that would help me to be able to sort of share knowledge among ourselves in areas of discovery that, problems that we have solved, and books that really has been very effective in guiding us through the journey that we are taking every day. And I think then for the center, it would be great to aggregate all those books. And even if the center could buy those books and create a library, then it makes it another great resource for members, for people to pay and join, so that they don't have to buy the books and they can check out the books.
Okay.
Down the road.
Okay. No, that's some great feedback. Thank you.
Yeah, that's great.
Thank you, Valley.
I mean, it could even be a
stuff. Thank
topic
you.
within the network too, right?
Yeah. Yep. Okay. Okay. Yeah, thank you, Valley, for that. Anyone else? Any other questions? Insight points before we bring things to a close here? Well,
I've
cool.
got
Well, thanks.
one thing.
Thanks.
I've got one thing, just a preview for next month's huddle.
Okay.
So next month, since there aren't any other questions on this topic specifically, since next month's theme will be team build, it's national like wellness and like I think wellness month or something like that. Isn't that what next month is? And so,
Yep.
In that spirit, then the topic for next month on the network is team building, wellness, culture, etc. And the topic that we've got two speakers that are coming into the next huddle. Bob Gilbreth he's with Hardy now, but was with Ahology and grew that team. He's going to talk about he loves building teams. He loves, thinking about organizational structure. So he's going to come in and talk about what some of his strategies have been to building an effective team. And then also an HCDC member named Nicole Armstrong, who's the CEO of Queen City Certified. Their mission is to elevate equity in the workplace. And so she'll talk about, strategies relating to ensuring that you have an equitable workplace. So between those two, they'll cover a lot. So make sure that you come to the session. Same bat time, same bat channel. Third Wednesday every month at 12:30. So we'll see you in a month.
But Paul,
On the huddle.
Right.
Otherwise, we'll see you in other places. But
Paul, this is Valley. Since I also teach security and so forth, I wanted to let you know that your password is behind you on the wall.
it's the HCDC Wi-Fi password. Olivier said the same thing. I'm not going to give out my bank routing number or name in the event that is somehow magically my password. But I appreciate the heads up because I would definitely not want that kind of snafu.
Okay. Take care.
All right. Yeah,
Thanks, guys. I love what you're doing.
Thanks, everyone.
Yes,
Thank you.
Great job.
See it.